Hey guys, I'm a little late on my mail call. I actually got these last Friday, but with everything that's been going on, I didn't have a chance to make a video. John, I really appreciate the sticker. That's one awesome looking sticker. It's going to look really good up on the wall here with the rest of you guys. Still haven't got around to making that piece of sheet metal up and stuff. I need to hurry or all my cabinet doors are going to be full. But yeah, it's an awesome sticker, dude. I really appreciate that, and I really thank you for the letter that you put in with it too. That's wonderful. I also got one here from Matthew, MGBSalta. He does a lot of woodworking stuff and some pretty good car videos. Really appreciate the sticker, buddy. That's a wonderful deal. Like I said, I'm going to really have to get to work putting this thing together so I can get the rest of you guys up on the board there. Been kind of working on this IRS for the Mustang just a little bit. Been taking some pretty careful measurements, and one thing I figured out is that Ford, I guess the assembly line and everything wasn't too exacting in their measurements. This is where the rear axle bumpers go on either side, and it's pretty much the center point of the wheel opening, because that's where the axle would hit if for some reason the springs and the shocks let it bottom out. And of course, I thought, well, that should be the center of the wheel opening, but I just measure just in case. So I found a good place to measure from were these bolt holes right here, the closest thing. So what I did was I took my little cheapy deepy protractor and lined it up on the back side of that hole and the very edge of this, and then I go over here to the other side and put it in the same hole. And back one. Sorry about that, stream close-up. You see what's wrong with this picture? This one is a 1/4 inch further forward than the other one was. I also confirmed this with a tape measure, measuring off of some of the factory holes from here up to this edge, and I did the same thing on the other side, because every time I'd measure it, I kept coming up with different measurements and couldn't understand what was going on. So if any of you guys go to do this in the future, anything suspension-wise, don't take for granted on these older cars that anything is going to be exactly the same. Like I said, this one's a 1/4 inch further forward than the other one is. I'm going to be removing these. I only left them on there so that that would give me what I thought was the center point, because the way the rear cradle is on this, it's actually got some stops and stuff built into it, so I won't need those. But I wanted to try and get everything pulled off of here so that I could set the cradle up on here and figure out about where it needed to go. And of course, I figured out that I'm going to have to relocate it just a little bit further forward and cut it off. As you can see, it's sitting way wider than the frame rails. It actually sits up on them just a little bit if I move it. And of course I can't do it one-handed now. But I figured out I'm going to have to shorten it about 2 inches to get everything to sit down in there. Of course that's off just a little bit to one side. But you can see how far out the bracket mounts are. So I'm definitely going to have to shorten that to where the brackets will actually sit down over the existing frame rails. I may even have to build a small section of square tubing to put the mounts on. As you notice, the mounts are pretty much centered, and I got to looking, and these are basically all four the same, so it doesn't really matter. The only problem is when I put it on my frame rail, as you can see, the Jaguar frame rail is quite a bit wider. So what I'm probably going to do, since I can't really weld or do any fabricating to these since they're molded to the rubber, is probably have to locate them to the inside edge like this, and then cut a filler channel to go in that gap to bolt everything together. But like I said, I'm going to have to shorten it quite a bit, as you can see by this right here. You know, I could bring it to the outside and have a little bit more clearance. Matter of fact, that looks like that may be a little better, because I'm still inside of the wheelhouse, so that wouldn't really interfere with the tires. So yeah, that's what I'll have to do. But as you can tell from where the bolt is now to where this hole is, I'm going to have to shorten it that much and basically move this end bracket in so that these will bolt to it. And I'm probably going to have to cut part of this old cross member where the shock's mounted either out or notch it and put a piece of square tubing or something back in its place, because that's kind of what ties the frame rails together right here. So that's probably what I'll end up doing, is I'll take and notch it, or this will fit in there, and either take and box it back in with some 1/8" steel or a piece of square tubing across through there. Either way will work. I kind of like to leave this center snubber right here for the drive shaft so it won't hit. But yeah, it's coming along a little bit further than I was last week. At least I'm starting to get some ideas how I want to get this thing mounted. As you can see by the center point, it's going to have to go quite a bit forward, and I'm going to have to notch that so it'll sit down in there, because this has got to be level across here with the frame rails on the car, because the tilt for the rear end is basically built into the cradle. So this should be set plumb with the rockers and the frame rails on the car. So when the car's level, this should be level across the top. It looks like I don't really want to set it down any further. Well, it'd be up if you had the car upright. So I'd kind of like to keep it about right here height-wise, but I still have to fabricate all these brackets and stuff to get it to fit in here. So that's what's been going on around here. I can't really tell if I'm in the focus or not of this camera because it's my wife's. But guys, I really appreciate the stickers. John, Kerry, and Matthew, thanks a lot again. I appreciate them. And maybe tomorrow or the next day I'll have something better to show you guys. Thanks. I'll see y'all later.